the single stalker I have. This is good to know.
So you are getting my gifts.
I have, yes. I'm slightly scared, actually.
Why are you not saying thank you? I distinctly say on the message, please give me a shout out on Instagram, Prof. That's all I want.
The problem is that you keep sending business proposals, and that's not, I'm saying, it's not how it works.
Oh, that's where I'm getting it wrong. Listen, Prof, you say that you are in South Africa because of 1.2 billion reasons. Can you run me through that?
Well, I study the world of entertainment, media, and sports, and there's 1.2 billion people in the continent of Africa, and I think it's about time that we tap into the enormous potential that is here. Maybe take some of the lessons we've learned in the U.S. about the entertainment business and see how we could make the industries here better and tap into the enormous potential that's here.
I love that because you are always about the case study. And, everybody that does your course at Harvard, they're like the case study, the case study, the case study. Can you run me through that? What is the case study and why do you rely on it so much?
So everyone at Harvard Business School relies on case studies. So we go to companies or individuals and we study them and we try to capture a decision that they're faced with or a situation that they're faced with in the form of a case study, 10, 12 pages of text and some exhibits that if you read them, it places you in the shoes of, say, Jay-Z or LeBron James or the person who makes the decisions at Disney. And so when we run our classes, we ask everyone to read that case study. And then hopefully they come and they have an opinion. And so I start the class by saying, well, if you are LeBron James, which of these endorsements opportunities do you pick? Or how many movies do you want to make this year if you run Disney? And that gets to a really interesting discussion.
Which brings me to our case study. Yesterday, there was a huge debate on the show. A lady sent in a message. No, don't you guys laugh because yesterday all of you guys were against me. And then I told you I'm going to get a professor of Harvard in here and she was going to decide on this. She's here now.
Okay,
so
this
thank you.
This is about the crunchies, isn't it?
Yes, about the crunchies.
Okay.
Prof Anita, please can you ever listen to this problem and then let us discuss it as a case study.
Okay, I'm ready.
Hi, you guys. Yolanda here. I just want to know if I'm in the wrong. Please help me out. So I have a little taste neighborhood in Pretoria where I sell biscuits and cakes. So whenever I visit my grandmother who lives in Witbank, I take her some of my crunchy biscuits because I know that she loves them and that's her favorite and they are my best sellers. So this weekend she asked me to send her the recipe because she says she lives too far away to order the biscuits from me and she only wants to bake them for herself. I refused, as this is now how I make my income and it's my secret recipe. But now she's not speaking to me.
Ever come across something this big?
It's I mean, this is huge. This seems to me to be a serious case of intellectual property theft.
Thank you, Prof.
So you would say she shouldn't give the recipe to her grandmother?
No, she shouldn't. She should make a business out of it and sell them to her grandmother if she can.
Right.
Exactly, because you know what? We don't know who the grandmother's going to give them to, right? Exactly, guys. What if she wants to scale up one day? Now, she can't scale to where the grandmother lives because the grandmother's handed the recipe out to all her neighbors there. They don't need to buy it if they have the recipe.
Is this your audition for the Harvard class?
No, it is not. I'm going to apply like everyone else. I can also get a Harvard sweater.
I don't know if this biscuit thing helps, though, your application. This is getting to be a little dicey.
Speaking of your class, I mean, you are the professor of media, entertainment, and sports studies, right, at Harvard Business School. When people apply to come and do your course, what do they want out of it? And I think this is maybe a question you asked them right at the beginning of the class. What would you guys want out of this course?
Well, I mean, it's actually pretty simple. We want people who come to learn, right? We don't want people who come just so that they can say they went to Harvard.
Yeah.
And even if you're the biggest celebrity on the planet, we're not going to treat you any different. You're going to have to do your homework. And if not, you look like a complete idiot in the class. And we're going to push you to participate and to learn.
Because you have had the biggest celebrities. I mean, LL Cool J was there. I know Dwayne Wade was there. I know Ciara was there. What's the leveling ground? Because let's be honest, celebrities are celebrities, and it takes you a while to acclimatize to Beyonce sitting next to you. You know, it would take me a good 2 years. So in your class, it just so happens that within the first 10 minutes, and I was watching the videos, everyone's fine and everyone's taking part. What's the leveling ground? What do you do to make sure that we're all equal here?
Well, I don't know if I do that much. I mean, they come to Harvard, so they're actually pretty nervous. And so I bank on that, and then I tell them this is my house. And so these are my
Right.
rules.
And you better follow the rules. That's how it works.
Exactly.
I think it's fascinating that you got an MBA that's entertainment, media, and sports, because people have forgotten that, don't realize that sport is entertainment and plays a huge part in media.
Yeah.
So a lot of people growing up are like, I'm going to go into sport, make a ton of money, and then leave. And then they spend all that money, and they need to use that to somehow get a business plan to further their career.
Would you say that's the gist of your course?
Yeah, I mean, in many ways, if you look at the United States, media, entertainment, and sports, that's the biggest export market we have, right? So most people think it's a frivolous kind of thing that we look at, but this is big business, and we need to make sure that we teach people how to build great businesses, whether it's sports or entertainment or media businesses.
There's something else that you said in one of your classes. You said that the individual, right, has become the superstar now. And do you think that is because people want authenticity? So I'm more prone to trust an individual more than a network or a corporation, and this is why the individual now has become such a business in the world.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a part of it. I would say that we live in the age of the superstar, and part of it is also that we can get very close to them, or at least feel very close to them through social media, right? We have a much closer connection now than ever before. I mean, you're stalking me on social media. I could stalk Dwayne Johnson on social media.
Yeah.
And so we're very close to each other, and therefore there's more opportunities for them to bank on their star power.
I can't stalk him anymore because he's blocked me.
I thought the prof was going to block me after her weekend with Toto Wolf, but I'm still good.
Okay.
I'm still good. On the way, we discussed the people that she has, been in connection with, the people that call her for advice, and more of the learnings that happened at the Harvard Business School in the Department of Media, Sports, and Entertainment.
I want to find out what she has seen in Africa and how we can look at changing the way we're doing things.
Look, I'm pretty sure she's going to catch a safari, but right now she's here for the Africa Sport and Entertainment Summit. Now, Prof, I deem you to be an academic motivational speaker, right? Because you get motivational speakers who can tell you that you can do everything, but then when you ask them for the blueprint as to how I do it, that's when they fail to come up. That to them it's, yes, you can. Come on, wake up in the morning and believe in yourself. The sun rises for everyone and it sets for everyone, and and then you're like, okay, but give me the tools. Would you say that you are here for the ASE Summit to give us the tools?
I mean, I wouldn't have been able to put it any better than you just did. Yes, there's actually substance behind what we say.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, we're gonna allow people to really think what it means to have great strategy, what it means to be a great leader, and how they can improve their businesses. Yes.
So you are one of the people on the planet that believe that leadership can be taught.
Yes, absolutely. I think there's a lot to learn from great leaders, and also not so great leaders, right? We can learn from what has gone wrong. Absolutely.
And can superstardom be taught? Or is that something that you are anointed with?
Ooh, that is a great question.
Wow.
I mean, I think it's there's a bunch of factors that explain why people become superstars. Some have to do with raw talent and their hard work. But there's also a bit of luck, which we can't teach. You have to have a bit of luck, I think, as well. But a big chunk of it is good strategy, and that we can teach. So I think we can definitely get people on the way to becoming a superstar.
So if I come today to the Maslow Hotel, to the Africa Sport and Entertainment Summit, and I'm coming with a specific question of, I'm on the cusp of being something great, do you find that it's easier to work with somebody who's on the cusp of something, or do you want just raw material, someone who's just like, look, I think I've got the talent, I just need somebody to take it and, point me in the right direction?
I think it's the whole spectrum. I think we can work with people who are new and who are just starting out, and I think we can work with people who are established superstars and make them think about what can you tweak to make that even better and create more opportunities. So I'm convinced that by the end of the day, if you come, we'll have you have a globally syndicated radio show.
Ooh.
Yeah.
She's talking to us now. She's
Okay.
not just she's talking
So
to us.
if we come
Yeah,
today,
Yes, today.
That's
she
it.
guarantees it.
Yes.
Guaranteed. Absolutely.
Wow.
Because one of the philosophies that I love, and you reiterate it all the time, is about, put just put everything into one thing. Don't be like, no, let's try that and this at the same time. Can you walk us through that? Because our new CEO, I believe, Jonathan Proctor, he is like that. He's just like, we're not going to save money in hoping to make money. He's like, we're gonna spend the money, and if you spend money, the other money will find us. And I think you and him are quite aligned in that thinking.
Absolutely. I love him already. I've never met him, but he sounds like a really good guy. I mean, this is about going all in. This is about being willing to take risks. Most people, when they think about making business decisions, we have this saying in the US, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Try to play it safe. That's not how you get to the top in the world of entertainment. You have to be willing to make blockbuster bets, as I call them, and have a blockbuster strategy and really go all in and try to bet on the things that you think are going to make you successful.
But that's what I was going to ask. When do you know that it's a blockbuster bet? Because there's that moment where you go, there's an opportunity, or I've got a sort of a strategy to do X, Y, Z. How do you know that this is a blockbuster bet that could pay off?
Well, I mean, that's a hard question to answer. It depends, obviously, on the specific opportunity in front of you. But I think most people have a sense of this is the one, this is the chance that might actually get me there.
Like it's a feeling inside.
Exactly. And you have to be willing to go all in, I think, on those types of decisions.
I would suppose that, we also think luck is something that comes to find you. But at times, maybe luck is just a feeling. So you've already done everything else, and you're going to put all the money in, and you're going to buy all the billboards across, like Likao did with Drip, you know what I'm saying?
Drip,
but luck is not lady luck that finds you like, oh, I was in the right place at the right time, and I was lucky. Sometimes luck is just your gut feeling, and now you've got no academia behind it, but it's just your feeling, and that's the luck you must rely on.
Yeah, there's always a bit of an intangible, right? Something that you can't quite capture. Whether you're a Hollywood movie studio head, or whether it's just you talking about your next decision, you have to be willing to trust your gut.
That's very interesting. I want to ask about, because you've, a lot of people, like she was saying, Toto and these guys across the world, captains of their industry, have spoken to you and come to you with problems. What's been the most interesting sort of problem that you've seen someone come with?
I've seen so many problems. It's hard to pick one. It's like choosing between your children and ask which one is your favorite.
They are favorites. I'm the favorite at home.
You mentioned Toto. That's a very recent case study, and that's not really. He didn't really come to us with a problem, but I think he was interested in someone capturing his leadership philosophy. Right. So I'm going to expose you to everything I do. So we were able to follow him during races, and as he was preparing for races, and our task was to try to figure out what makes Toto. What is the secret to his success? And that was really, really interesting.
Do you find companies want you to replicate a leader? Because for instance, sooner or later, Toto's going to leave Petronas. He's going to leave Mercedes-Benz, right? Much like Lewis Hamilton is going to. Do you find that companies come to you and they're like, this guy is going to leave. We need a succession plan. Can you help us clone this person or clone something that they did right?
Yeah, that happens a lot. But this notion of cloning someone is not the right way of looking at it, right? Everyone has their own unique strengths. And so you can't just say, we had this person, we're going to try to replicate them in another person. I don't think that's how it works.
How does it work?
Well, you have to find an interesting candidate. You have to build a structure around that person to make them more likely to succeed. Right? This is not just about that one person. This is about building an organization around them. And you have to tap into what their strengths are. So
building the environment for the person to become a Toto and not necessarily wanting to go and find a Toto.
Exactly.
Okay. Are you giving this course? Are you attending it? I don't know, Anele. Like, you've got the little nuggets there, huh?
This feels like an admissions interview already.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen, one more little break. When we come back, I've got 2 clips to play for the prof, and then we say goodbye. She has to make her way to the Maslow Hotel. She'll be joining Thomas Mlambo, Kyle de Klerk, Kutwano Tisele, and Kyle de Klerk is from Nielsen Sports, by the way. He's also going to be on the panels today. So I think, just the IP that is going to be flying around at the Maslow Hotel today at the ASC, just that intellectual capacity is going to be so much. So I've got 2 clips that I want to play for you, Prof, before we say goodbye. These come from my heavy stalking of you. The first one is, I think it was a soccer player or a football player in your class.
I have to say the best decision that I've made was to leave my country, because I grew up in Cameroon, and you look at the chances of being in the NBA, it's like someone said to me, you have like 5 times the better chance to be hit by lightning or something like that than to make it to the NBA, which is like crazy. But when you think about being from Africa, I think it's times 10 even, you know, because it's so far from you. So I came to the United States and I created a blueprint for success.
My mistake, NBA player. Now he's in your class, he's in your course at Harvard, saying the best decision that he has ever made was to move from Cameroon to America, and that's why he's in the NBA. You are here in South Africa and you are telling us that, hey guys, you know, you guys have got a market share, you've got 1.2 billion people. So you are telling me that very soon I won't have to move as an entertainer to Hollywood. I should be creating my own Hollywood here.
Yeah, I think there are lots of examples that we see that Africa is actually a really good market to be in. When we look at music, for instance, everyone who's making it big in Afrobeats is actually based here, or at least has one foot here. And I think that is a really great place to be. There's Nollywood, and I think most people from outside underestimate, but that's a really strong force. So yeah, you don't necessarily have to leave, and even someone like Luke Mbaamute, who we've just heard. I mean, with NBA Africa being such a force now, he won't have to go to the US as early as he did, I think.
What's the best decision you ever made, Prof?
The best decision was definitely to get up an hour early today and come and hang with you guys. I mean, that's an easy one.
Okay, fine. Second best then.
Yeah, stop it. I like it. All right, one more clip before we say goodbye.
Did you think back in the day that some of those lessons that
Wait, come back. I'm not. This is Prof interviewing Sir Alex Ferguson.
Right.
They had a chat, and I really, really like this question.
Did you think back in the day that some of those lessons that you were learning might ever be applicable to the wider area of business?
I don't look at myself as a professor of educational abilities, some of the people we've been meeting in the last few years. But nonetheless, I think there is a certain element of my career that can help people. No matter what industry you're in, whether it's football or finance or a doctor or in a hospital, leadership qualities are similar.
I'll tell you why I love this interview so much is because I believe it's the crux of, you know, your legacy and who you are, Prof, is that you're telling people that just because you are one thing, it doesn't mean that your story and your experiences and your learnings are not applicable to another. Because I find that I get booked to do, you know, to MC an investment bank conference, right? And then the night before, I literally cripple myself because I'm like, what do I know about investment? And then I try to watch Billions, you know. I'm like, okay, we're going to bounce the market and then we're going to do this. And then I cram all the stuff and I get there and I realize all they wanted me was to be me, right? They've got the numbers covered. They just want my essence. And I believe that your course is that. Would you agree with me that you are saying it doesn't matter where you're blooming, just come and let's all bloom here together, and together we're going to come up with a solution?
Yeah, absolutely. And this, I think, is a really important point because I talk with a lot of athletes and celebrities, and people put other people in boxes, right? So, okay, Dwayne Wade was a great basketball player, and somehow lots of people think that's therefore the only thing he can do, which is a ridiculous thing because he was really successful at that. So he probably took a bunch of really great decisions. Why wouldn't we think the chance that he can do something else as well is actually greater because he was so successful in basketball, right? So never underestimate someone. And tap into what it is that made them successful, and presumably they can apply that to other areas as well.
And this is why I think this summit is important, and not just for people who want to be in sports, entertainment, and media. I look at any company, right? You've got departments. Now you're keeping somebody confined to HR because that's what they came in to be hired as. Whereas they've got ideas about marketing. They've got ideas about, you know, logistics. They've got ideas about every other thing. And when you can put people in a melting pot with their expertise, I really think that, you know, the company can progress forward.
I think the big thing is that you need strong leaders who can recognize those things and guide their teams. And I think that's what the summit today is about, recognizing how do we spot this leadership quality and how are people making these decisions.
I think that's an excellent summary. Maybe you should come to do the closing for us.
He is the vote of thanks uncle around
Yeah,
these
I
times.
know I can do it. I can do it.
Prof, thank you so much for your time. I have no doubt that today is going to be an amazing day for everybody who's going to be attending the ASC Summit happening at the Maslow Hotel. You are welcome here anytime you want.
I'd love that. I might actually just move in. It looks like you have very comfortable couches, but it was a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
We are also a case study waiting to happen. I'm just not sure it's a Harvard one.
A police case, maybe.